Hey everybody, here is Mr. Reeves with you again. And you are with me, and I'm so excited you are here. So, we are continuing our review of Module 2. So, in my first video, I just went through each of the sections in Module 2 and talked about the lessons and did a few problems. But now I wanted to go through the actual quiz review assignment itself. So I will not be doing all of the problems, but I will be doing selected problems. It is possible I will be doing some of the same problems you have. It is possible they will all be different, but they will be very, very similar. So let's take a look. The first problem we have here is a negative times a positive. So we know the answer is going to be negative, right? A negative times a positive is a negative, and 6 times 8 is 48. So the answer to this one would be negative 48. Again, negative because a negative times a positive is a negative, and 6 times 8 is 48. Remember always to check your answer, and when you go to the next problem, look for that green check mark because that means that you got that problem correct and you now have credit for it. All right? Now, if you look at the next one, we have a negative times a negative is a positive. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. We know that now. And 5 times 3 is 15. So the answer is positive because a negative times a negative is a positive, and it's 15 because 5 times 3 is 15. All right? Next problem. Hey, look, 2 green check marks. That's a good thing. All right, once again, a positive times a negative is going to be a negative, right? And 2 times 12 is going to be 24. So this one would be a negative 24. Oh, now we got 3 numbers instead of just 2 numbers. Why didn't I get a check mark on that previous one? I thought, is this problem number 4 or is this problem number 3? Problem number 3? Huh. All right. Negative 4 times 5 times negative 3. So what do we do when there are 3 numbers? Let me write it over here. Negative 4, all right, negative 4 times 5 times negative 3. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these 2 first. Well, a negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 5 is 20. So this part is negative 20. So then I'm going to do negative 20 times negative 3, right? But a negative times a negative is a positive, and 20 times 3 is 60. All right, so I did the first 2, got an answer, then multiplied that product times the negative 3 and got 60. All right, by the way, just so you know, multiplication is commutative, so you actually can multiply those in any order that you want to. What happened on question 3? Maybe I didn't check my answer. All righty. We'll see. That's a good lesson for all of us. Make sure you look for those green check marks because you want to make sure you get credit for every problem that you do. All right, what about this next one? The temperature dropped 4 degrees Celsius every 8 hours. For 8 hours, 4 degrees. What was the total number of degrees temperature change? All right, remember when something drops, that's going to be a negative. Okay, so negative 4, it dropped 4 degrees. 8 hours, it happened 8 times. Remember, the number of occurrences is always a positive number. It's dropping, so that's a negative, right? A negative times a positive is going to be a negative, and 4 times 8 is 32. All right, so I'm going to put negative 32 because it says what was the total change in temperature. All right, and then I'm going to check my answer. All right, and it says, well done. Just a reminder, guys, if you were not sure whether the answer should be positive or negative, you could always go to View Example, and you could see right there what we just did. They did. You could also go to Step by Step, and it will guide you through the problem. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try another one because I didn't get credit for that one. By the way, when you do the view example, you can't get credit unless you try another. So once again, on this one, the temperature dropped 6 degrees, right? So that's going to be a negative 6. for 9 hours. That's positive 9. So we do negative 6 times positive 9. A negative times a positive is a negative, and 6 times 9 is 54. So this one's going to be negative 54. I'm going to make sure I check my answer. I'm going to go to the next question. I got my green check mark. I'm good. So we just did some multiplication problems. What about some division problems? Well, the great thing is the rules are the same for division, right? Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5, right? Because a negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So let's go ahead and put in our negative 5 and see how we do. Excellent. Next question. All right, now we've got a negative divided by a negative. Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, right? And 40 divided by 5 is 8. So again, negative divided by negative is a positive, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. All right. Now, remember, I talked about this in the previous video. Okay, this is important. 0 divided by anything is 0. And anything divided by 0 is undefined. Okay? 0 divided by anything is 0, and anything divided by 0 is undefined. Since this one is 0 divided by negative 11, the answer is going to be 0. How many negative 11s are in 0? There aren't any negative 11s in 0. All right, we put 0, and we go on to our next question. I'm liking these green check marks up here. All right, a positive divided by a negative is a negative, right? A positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 36 divided by negative 9 is negative 4. Is negative 4. All right, an elephant at the zoo lost 28 pounds over 7 months. All right, so again, losing 28 pounds, that's going to be a negative. The number of occurrences is always a positive number, okay? The elephant lost the same amount of weight each month. Enter an integer that represents a change in the elephant's weight. So he lost 28 pounds, and he did it over a period of 7 months. All right, so 28 pounds lost over a period of 7 months. A negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative. We know he's losing pounds, so it's negative. You take that 28, you break it up into 7 equal parts, and you get 4. All right, so the elephant's weight changed by, now it changed by 4 pounds, but I'm not sure if they want me to put a positive 4 or a negative 4. So I'm thinking they want a negative 4 because it went down. So let's see if that's right. They did want the negative 4, okay? If I had accidentally put in a positive 4 and gotten it wrong, then I would have known, and I would have tried another, and the next time I would have put in a negative. I also could have chosen view example, and then I could have seen, right, that they wanted a negative answer right there, right? Okay, so let's go on to the next problem. By the way, did I get credit? I didn't get credit for that one. All right, try another. So again, guys, this is important. If you don't get that check mark, we'll try another one because we want a green check mark on every problem, right? This time he lost 20 pounds over 5 months, and guess what? Negative 20 divided by 5 is also negative 4. This one thankfully has the same answer. And now if we go back and look, oh, it's not going to give us that green check mark. Check our answer. We did. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. Now we're on to the third lesson of Module 2. And do you know how I know that we're in the third lesson? Because we have more than one operation. Right here we have a multiplication problem, right? And then we have addition. And so when we have more than one operation, we need to remember order of operations. Again, I went over this in the previous video. PEMDAS, right? Do everything in parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication and division from left to right, and then addition and subtraction from left to right. Again, the problems from the textbook only have this part of PEMDAS, but I expect you to know all of PEMDAS. Okay, so we're going to do the multiplication and division part first. A negative times a positive is going to be a negative, and 2 times 8 is 16. All right, now I have negative 16 plus 4. Well, what do I have more of? Do I have more negatives or more positives? I have more negatives, so my answer is going to be negative. How many more do I have? Well, I go 16 minus 4, and I get 12. So the answer we're looking for this one is a negative 12. Well done, Mr. Reeves. Next problem. Okay, again, right here, I've got this multiplication that I need to do first. Okay, a negative times a negative is going to be a positive, right? 5 times 8 is 40. So I did the multiplication, then I'm going to subtract. 40 take away 9. All right, we could just do this like the good old days. 40 minus 9 is going to be what? 31. If you wanted to change this to plus a negative, you could do that and say, what do I have more of? I have more positives. How many more positives do I have? I have 31. All right, there we go. On to the next problem. Okay, again, right here, I'm going to do the division part first. Negative 21 divided by 7. A negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So now I have negative 3 take away 13. But subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. And now I have 3 negatives plus 13 negatives, right? They're all those red circles, right? 3 reds, I'm not going to draw them out, plus 13 reds would give me 16 reds. Negative 16 is the answer we are looking for on that one. Okay, again, this one, I'm going to divide, right? And then, remember, subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So a negative 42, I'm going to erase that. A negative 42 divided by a negative 7, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive, right? Subtracting a negative, same as adding a positive. I get 6 plus 6, which last time I checked was 12. Yes, rock and roll. Next problem. Ooh, lots of words. All right, select and solve the real-world problem that represents this expression, a negative 4 times a positive 5 plus a 10. All right, so remember, let's think about this before I even look at the words. A negative means something's being taken away or I'm losing something. 5 would be the number of occurrences, and this 10 means I'm getting something back, okay? So I'm losing something. I'm losing 4 things 5 times and then getting 10 back. So let's see what they said. Maurice found or lost 4 nickels. Well, it's a negative 4, right? It's a negative 4. So he lost 4 nickels in the laundry. So 5 cents here actually doesn't mean the number of occurrences. It means what it's worth. Okay, many, many times it's the number of occurrences, but not this time. All right, and then he found a dime. So this 10 cents is what he got. When you get something, it's positive, okay? What was his change in his money? All right, so now we actually have to do this math. When he lost those 4 nickels, that was like losing 20 cents, right? 4 times 5 is 20. A negative times a positive is a negative. And then we're going to go ahead and add that 10 back, and we're going to get, so he lost 10 cents because he lost 20 cents and found 10. He lost 20 cents and found 10, so that's the same as losing 10 cents. All right, look at that. There's just 4 problems left. All right, the submarine starts in an elevation of negative 35 meters compared to sea level. It then makes 3 equal descents of 145 meters each. Okay, a long time ago we talked about descent versus ascent. Okay, back in module 1, descend means to go down, ascend means to go up. So it descends, so it goes down 145 meters 3 times. All right, is the final depth of the submarine greater than 500 meters? Complete the explanation. All right, so if you see right here, we've got negative 35, and there's our negative 35 here, right? Okay, it's descending. Because it's descending, all right, we're going down, we're subtracting, all right? It descends how many times? It descends 3 times, right? 3 equal descents of 145 meters, all right? So the way they wrote it was negative 35 minus 3 times 145, okay? I might have done negative 35 plus 3 times negative 145, but those are the same thing, right? Because subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. Either way, guys, here's an example. I like this of where we have to do the multiplication first. This is where I wish they would have done more problems like this, where you knew that you don't subtract first, you're going to multiply first, even though the multiplication comes second, right? So we need to do 3 times 145 and find out what that equals, okay? All right, so 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. I'm going to carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we get 435, okay? So that right there, if we go up to the way they did it, it's going to be negative 35 minus 435. If we do it the way I did it, it's going to be negative 35 plus a negative 435. Either way, we're going to end up doing the same thing because subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. So think about it. We were 35 feet down. We went 435 feet more down. All right, that means we're at a negative 470 feet down. Okay? So if we go back up here, by the way, if I'm 470 feet down, I haven't gotten to 500 feet down, right? We're going down, okay, this way. Way up here is 0. Right here is negative 470. Down here is 500. So we didn't get there. Does that make sense? We're starting at 0. Again, this is 0. Doesn't look like 0, does it? Let me try this again. Here's 0. And we go down. They went down 35, right? They were down 35, and then they went down 435 more. They never made it to negative 500. Okay? So, what do we got here? That equals negative 470. So, the submarine's depth is negative 470 meters. The final depth is less than 500 meters. We did not make it. All right? Whoa, they don't like it. All right, maybe they want this to be positive. Let's see there. Okay, so see, here's a case where I put a negative because we were negative 470, but because it said depth, our depth means we're already down. So that part right there took care of the negative. So again, if you still couldn't figure it out, you could have done view example, and that would have helped you out there. But we got it right. We got it right. So now we can go on to the next problem. We got our green check mark here. All right, 3 problems to go. Okay, this table shows the bills that Rosemary had this month. She begins the month with $54.30 in her bank account. All right, and then she has these bills. So before she paid these bills, she had $54.30. All right, and then she has a phone bill, she has a dance uniform, and she has a dance shoes. This is not looking good because I can tell already that these numbers exceed that number. All right. Without any deposits, she's going to be in trouble. That's what I can tell you. Remember, deposits means you put money in. Withdrawals means you take money out. And generally, we like to have more money in the bank than we're taking out, right? Okay, so here we go. So we have 54 minus 2756 minus 6595 minus 55. All right, the sign is going to turn out to be negative. And by the way, overdraft means that she has less money than she started with. Okay, so overdraft means you're spending more money than you have. Alrighty, so we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do 54.30, and then I'm going to take away all of these. I'm going to take away 27.56. I'm going to take away 65.95, and I'm going to take away $55. Okay? All right, now in general, guys, I encourage you not to use a calculator. All right, but on a problem like this, if you understand how to do the problem, I really don't have a problem with you using a calculator for one like this. I want you to understand the process of what's going on here. All right, so let's take a look. Why am I unable to move this? I'm not quite sure why I'm unable to move this calculator. Okay, but I can do the problem. All right, so she started off with $54.30. All right, so $54.30, and I'm going to take away $27.56, and then I'm going to take away $65.95, and then I'm going to take away $55. All right, and when I'm done, I get negative 94.21. All right, I get negative 94.21. All righty. Am I not recording? All right, so overdraft. So Rosemary has an overdraft of 94.51. Alrighty, I'm not sure why. It looks like I'm not recording here. I hope I'm still recording here. Okay, Rosemary will babysit for a total of 14.5 hours this month. She earns $8 per hour. What would be the account balance after depositing all that she earns and pays her bills? Okay, so if she's earning $8, so if she has 14.5 times 8, let's see what happens here. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. All right. 8 times 4 is 32. Carry the 3. And we get 8, so we get 112. Let's see here. 8 times 4. There we go. $112 because we just have one decimal place there. All right. So we're going to have $112 minus that 94.21, her negative balance, right? So this is good news because that number is bigger than that number. So let's see here. 94, we have 112 minus 94.21. So again, I'm going to go back to my handy dandy calculator. So I'm going to go 112 minus 94.21, and when I do that, I get 1779. So minus 94.21, and I get 17.79. Is that what I got? Let me double check. 1779. That is correct. So the account balance would be positive 1779. Wow, this is a long problem. Rosemary wants to buy a gift for her little brother this month. Should she buy a baseball glove for $22.95 or a t-shirt for $13.95? Well, I think she should buy the t-shirt for $13.95. All right. So if she goes $22.95, that would be less than 0. Right? But $13.95 minus that would be greater than 0. So she should buy the t-shirt. That way she won't be in the negative. Oh my goodness, and we made a mistake. Where is our mistake? You know what? I don't know where our mistake is. Let me go ahead and view an example. This feature is not available on this problem. How about step by step? That's not available here either. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure where my mistake is on this problem, and I really don't have the time right now to go back through it, but that's the process. So you start with what she had, you subtract what she spent. All right, the sign would indicate an overdraft because it was negative. All right, then we take what money she earned, we subtract what she owed, and we get that balance. All right, and then we had $22.95. Oh, sorry, I can see a mistake right there. That would be a baseball glove. So we want her money, 17.79. All right. And this one, 17.79. Now I see, I think that might be my problem. Nope, that still isn't the problem. All right, so I'm just going to move on to the next problem. I'm just willing to get this one wrong, I got to tell you. If I had more time, I would work back and do it. But now you know what to look for when you made a mistake on a problem. You don't get that green check mark. We got an orange check mark. All right, so let's finish this up. A diver descends from an elevation of 2 feet below sea level to an elevation of 102 feet below sea level in 2 intervals. What was the diver's change in elevation on each interval? All right, so a diver descends from an elevation of negative 2 feet. So up here is 0. Okay, so we're going down. So here's 0. So there's negative 2 feet. That's where he was at. To an elevation of 102 feet below sea level. So now he's at negative 102, and he did it in 2 equal intervals. All right, well, let me ask you, how far did this diver go? This diver went down 100, right? Do you agree? From negative 2 to 102 is down 100. And if you divide that by 2, what do you get? You get negative 50. They were nice. They made the number nice and easy. All right, 100 divided by 2. All right, so the diver's change in elevation, the diver's total change in elevation. Excuse me, did I read this problem wrong? A diver descends from an elevation of 2 feet to an elevation of 102 feet in 2 equal intervals. Oh, in each interval. So it says what was the diver's change in elevation in each interval, and then this question says the total change in elevation. Well, the total change in elevation in each interval is negative 50 feet. All right, that was really confusing, the way they said it here and the way they said it there, because this makes it sound like the total change. The total change was 102. All right, but they wanted the total change in each interval. All right, I really don't like how they worded that. Okay, last one. An elevator starts at floor 8. It goes up 9 floors twice, and then it goes down 18 floors. Okay, so we are starting at floor 8. So we are at a plus 8. Okay, actually, let me do this. We're at a plus 8. All right, it goes up 9 floors twice. So then it goes up 9, and then it goes up 9. Okay? And down here, is, by the way, is 0. Okay, so it went from 0. Well, that's not really to scale, is it? So 0. Okay, it's up. It's up at 8, or at least that's where it's starting. Okay, and then it goes up 9 and then up 9. All right. A second elevator starts at floor 30. So it's at plus 30. All right. And it goes down 6 floors. It goes down 6. All right. And then it goes up 8 floors. Woo, plus 8. Which elevator ends on a higher floor? All right. So this one is 8 plus 9 times 2. I think that's how they wanted us to write this, because they wanted it to be like one of those problems we're doing, right? You could just do 8 plus 9 plus 9, but remember, repeated addition is multiplication. So 8 plus 18, we get 26, right? On this one, we have 30 minus 6 plus 8. All right, so we're going to work from left to right. Subtraction comes before addition when you're working left to right in this case. So I get 24. 24 plus 8 is 32. So if I compare 32 to 26, 32 is greater than 26, right? 32 is greater than 26, and 32 was the second elevator, right? This was the second, and this one was the first. So there we go. All right. So the second elevator. Alrighty. Oh, wait, there's more. Elevator one ends up on floor. What was it? Elevator 1 was on floor. Whoa, go back. 26. And elevator 2 was on floor 32. So 26, 32. Check. What? Elevator 1 ends on, while elevator 2 ends on 26, 32. Let me see. 8 plus 18. Oh, elevator. I never finished it. Shame on you, Mr. Reeves. Elevator starts at floor 8. It goes up 9 twice. Oh, and then it goes down 18. Well, if it goes down 18 after it went up 18, it's going to go back to where it was. So if I add a minus 18 on here, that puts me at 0. Gosh, I wonder if I made a mistake on the next one too. All right, a second elevator starts at 30. Okay, it goes down 6, and then it goes up 8. So that one seems okay. So let's go back to this. It ends on floor 8. Is that where it started? All right. This is not 0. It's 8. The change was 0. All right. 8 and 32. All righty. There we go, right? Yeah? Okay. All righty. Well, that takes us to the end. I don't know why it's not letting us check this answer. Not quite sure what's going on there. But we did work our way through those problems. I apologize about number 17. I bet you guys watching the video can find my mistake. I'd love for you to email me and tell me where my mistake was. All right. Well, I hope this helped you out to get ready for our Module 2 quiz. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.